Hey Dream Media family, we are back for day 3 of our complete smart home renovation here in Edwards, Colorado. Days 1 and 2, we gutted this entire rack, got rid of all of the extra cables and HDMIs and just other funk that was left from the multiple smart home upgrades and multiple companies that had come through. Really got the rack digestible and labeled on the back. We switched out the entire home network. We added a UPS as well as IP controlled Wattbox surge protectors, so I can remotely work on the home. We've got our distributed audio in here, Sonos streamers to power the music selection, as well as a URC 8100 for amplifying those speaker zones. We've got a couple media devices in here, an Xfinity cable box, as well as an Apple TV and a Fire Stick, and a Denon receiver. That is for our great room. Our other media zones in the home are located as islands remotely. So we will be installing some smaller URC base stations in those areas to get reliable control of the full home. The biggest challenge so far at this property, and we run into it occasionally on renovations, more often than not actually, is something like this. So this house has had the drywall stripped a couple of times, has been reworked on, and between initial evaluation, finding these wires, even our dedicated looms that are labeled to the media zones in the house, a lot of these wires were either struck, maybe during drywall or just the renovation in general. A lot of them do not tone back. You know, a lot of the data is located throughout the home, do not tone back to the area anymore. So we've had some challenges to overcome. But I did prep ahead with some of those remote base stations. So since I have been able to locate at least a usable data so far in most of the remote zones, we are good to go. So I'm just going to throw on our last couple of faceplates here and clean up, get our final front of rack cleanup going. And then I'm going to be diving in heavy to setting up some base stations, getting our remote and touchscreen interfaces for URC distributed throughout the house, and really just diving into the programming in URC and getting it really dialed in over the next 2 days here at the property. And now I get to add my favorite faceplate of every rack that well, not just rack, but every home takeover we perform that has a rack gets a complimentary Dream Media faceplate / rack cover. We've got our call out number to reach our service department, as well as our logo and website. So this just ensures that if the home is sold, or if a lot of time passes, which usually happens before we get a service call out, that they know exactly who to reach out to. From our URC app specifically, our clients can go into their settings in any room and report a problem or let me know that they are requesting a new feature to their home. So we try and make that initial point of contact as easy as possible so they don't have to necessarily remember my cell number or remember what technician was there. They can just hit a button in their phone app on any of their touch screens or remotes to request assistance / a new feature, as well as grab our branding off of this plate right here so that we can have as seamless of a response time as possible. One of the reasons why we love doing this is, so once we deploy the initial base system where they have their lighting control, their AV control, their shade control, whatever it is that's in the home, if you don't know what you want, you don't really know. So we deploy kind of a base system just to get the clients up, and then that's where the personalization of your system starts. So they're able to, right when they think of it, oh man, it'd be cool if we had a movie time scene or something that automatically dimmed our lights, dropped our shades, pretty much anything you could want. They're able to just request that feature right when it comes up in their head, instead of having to remember it with everything that's going on in life. All right, guys, so that is officially a wrap on the front of the rack. I do have a couple more interconnects between our Sonos and our URC amplifier here, as well as moving the Fire Stick, centralizing that in the rack, pulling it off the back of the TV. Because what was happening is the homeowner was only using their speakers when they were watching their Comcast box, which is located here. So I'm pulling all of the media streamers for the Great Room into this area. That way I can extract the audio of all these devices and send them through our 5.1 system in that room. So right on, I am going to jump off camera here, wire up the rest of our interconnects, and then really dive into the URC programming. So there won't be too much for me to film. I will try and get some footage of setting up these remote media locations as I go, but understand I am alone and am on a pretty good time crunch with CEDIA coming up next week. Can't wait to see you guys there. But anyway, we're up against the clock here, so excuse me if I skip some steps in filming, but rest assured we will come back out and shoot a full home tour once the homeowner has been able to live with their system for a little bit. We get some of that customization done and make sure that they are another happy Dream Media client. All right, so, excuse me. All right, so I have finished up wiring our interlinks between our Sonos and our distributed audio system, as well as our media players for the Great Room into our Denon receiver here. So now I'm at the point where I'm going to install our Link brand Balun. So I need to certify and tone my data cables to make sure it's not only the right cable, but the cable is terminated right, and address it if it's not. So right here I have a Klein tool network tester, so I can go ahead and plug in one of my RJ45s here to this base, and with this toner go to my remote area, send tone across the line, which I can check with the toning wand, as well as certify my RJ45 connections. This is important because while all 8 pins of your data cable may not be used for transferring network data, especially when you get into PoE like we are right now, I will be using all 8 pins. Some of them will be dedicated for power and some of them for content / data. So we'll start cruising there and then jump into some of our remote areas. All right, so I'll bring you with me and kind of show you what it looks like when a cable is certified correctly. Let's get going. All right, so just a short little video showing you that I can check the continuity of every pin in the system, as well as make sure the cable passes for transferring data. So this is what we do with every data cable when we're going through the home. Same goes for coax connections, as well as RCAs, all that goodness. We test and tone all of our cables. All right, guys, so as you see, I have some URC remote interfaces already unboxed. Again, I'm trying to get through this home as fast as possible, so excuse me for what I haven't showed on camera. So today, we will be releasing kind of a deep dive on some of the higher end controllers, but here we have a lot of the entry options in front of us. This is your classic 1080. It's a multi-room remote without a microphone button, but it can control any room in the house. Here is our 7100 URC touchpad. So it's just like the one you may see Zach using all of the time in his home. It's just a 7-inch version instead of a 9-inch. And real quick on camera, I will unbox our 820, which is our single room Wi-Fi remote that again does not have a microphone button, and it is not meant to move from room to room. It stays in the room we set it up in. So here when we open the box, I've got a little greeting card, as well as a power adapter for charging the base station. I've got my remote with a sticker saying it passed inspection from URC. I love that they inspect every product before it leaves. All right, so the bottom pops off right there. Got my battery pack here, gonna open that really quickly. Line up my pins. Go ahead and insert the battery here. And this guy's been charging overnight, so we should be good there. None of these are on the system yet, so that's why you are looking at stock displays as well as the touchpad. Just doing the URC logo on it at the moment. All right, so for the 820 specifically, it does plug in right here on the base of the remote. And yeah, this is kind of our entry level. Maybe this is a good option for a mother-in-law suite. Any room where you want them to be able to have full control of that local space without access to the entire home. So they can't switch the room to the master bedroom and turn off your TV, lights, or close your shades, anything like that. So this is a great solution for kids' bedrooms, guest bedrooms, or really off the beaten path rooms that you know don't need multi-room control. So again, this is the entry-level remote. This is the step up. Entry level is the TRC 820. This is the TRC 1080 with it's not a touch screen, but you do have a nice LED screen here. And you can control any room in the home. And in other videos, we have dove into the 1480, the 1120, the 9100, the 9600. And again, this is the 7100 portable touchscreen. So this guy will live in the dining/kitchen area of the great room and can be used as a floater throughout the whole home. I am going to grab the camera real quick and show you our 7600 in-wall touchpad that we retrofitted in based off of some of the cat cable wiring from the old audio control system. So follow me. All right, guys, so here is our 7600 touchpad. Again, it hasn't been set up yet, still has the plastic on it. So we're just getting into it today. Here's an example of a Lutron engraved keypad. And here's probably my favorite part about this touchpad installation is this sliding door rail, right? So we went ahead and double checked our measurements before we spec'd this in. And the touchpad just seamlessly exists. So if you open the door, it is not in the way at all. Now, I could have completely hid the touchpad. I understand this trim is sticking out, but I really wanted it centered with our keypad, was my biggest concern. But yeah, I just think that's so cool how narrow this fit is here. Give you a side view. And this is just an example of how low profile and out of the way these touchpads are once installed in your home. All right, guys, so we are back during our day 3 install. My network is rebooting right now, so I thought it would be a great time to touch base and let you know where we are in the process. We already did most of our physical installation. The rack is entirely done. All I have is a few more datas and some IRs to hook up, a couple things to pull through wire chases that I don't necessarily need to do right now to test the system. So I have gone into our router and divided the network so that we don't have conflicting IPs, or if the network goes down, the router isn't gonna hand out the IP of our main URC controller or any of our other gear that I need staying in the same place, Sonos, Ring, you name it. So just trying to avoid problems in the long run with the network, taking that extra step. Our network's rebooting now. Once we're back online, I'll have all my finalized IP addresses for the control gear and other media equipment I have installed throughout the house, and we will be able to dive into our URC programming now. So
we'll come out and shoot a high quality video of this whole house, as well as a deep dive on all the control systems involved at the end. So thanks for joining.